Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to, as I said on the little live stream for the promotion of tomorrow's live stream. It's absolutely miserable here. It's that mizzle rain. It's horrible here at the moment. Anyway, I've got something really good to brighten the day up. We're back to doing a music marathon, 13 or more after a little break. And we're going to kick off with a great blues rock guitarist. His name's Joseph Leonard Bonamassa. Great guitarist. He's a good singer. He was born on the 8th of May 1977, and this guy started his career at the age of 12 when he opened for the legendary B.B. King. Unbelievable, isn't it? There is a clip, and it is actually in the playlist. It's the very first clip of him playing at 13 on an American show, and boy could he play at 13. He's won Grammy Awards, has worked with a lot of people as well, and he has put out 16 albums. So we'll have a look today at the 16 studio albums of Joe Bonamassa. A lot of covers in here as well, so should be a good one. So coming in at number 16 is his third album from 2003, and it's called Blues Deluxe. With Joe on here, we've got Eric Czar on the bass, Kenny Cram on drums, Benny Harrison on the organ, John Paris on the harmonica. He opens up with a B.B. King cover, and why not? He did support him, and it's his version of You Upset Me Baby. That's a great version, nothing wrong with that. And then he does a John Lee Hooker, Burning Hell, a great track. Then there's Blues Deluxe, which is of course a Jeff Beck track. Probably my favourite track on this album. Man of Many Words, Buddy Guy cover, excellent version of it as well. Then we've got a couple of Joe's songs, Wake Up Dreaming, lovely guitar tones on this. I Don't Live Anywhere, just a nice song, nothing wrong with that at all. Just, if you like your blues, you're going to love this. Wild About Your Baby, Elmore James cover, super little track. The Long Distance Balloon from T-Bone Walker, he does a great version of that. Pack It Up, Freddie King cover, they're just brilliant tracks these are. Leftovers from Albert Collins, and Walking Blues from Robert Johnson, and then Mumbling Word, simple sort of song, acoustic sort of blues, just like Robert Johnson, very good. Okay, just because this comes in at number 16 doesn't mean it's rubbish. It is great. There's some great versions of the songs. This is tough because all of them are really good albums, but this is a very, very good album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, coming in at number 15 is the Blues Deluxe Volume 2, the 16th and current album. Came out last year. So once again, it's got a lot of covers on here. The first one is a Bobby Bland cover, 24-Hour Blues, fantastic track. Does a good job of it as well. Look, he does all these. It's hard, but it's fair from Bobby Parker. Very good track. Well, I've gone and done it. Well, I've done and got it over. Eddie, written by Eddie Jones. Guitar Slim, nice version of that. I Want to Shout About It. Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters. It's not too bad. Not one of my favourites. It just doesn't have the same zing as the original. Winnow, Pee Wee Cainton, that's alright. Hope You Realise, Goodbye, which is an original song. Funky little number, some great guitar work here from Joe. Lazy Poker Blues, my favourite on here. It's the Fleetwood Mac song, absolutely brilliant. Sure Drive a Hard Bargain, from Albert King. Truth Hurts. Now this features Josh Smith and Kirk Fletcher on here, and they do the Kenny Neal It's a Kenny Neal number. And then we have an original track called It's Safe to Go Home. Brilliant ballad from Joe, playing, you know, you can tell he was influenced by B.B. King because of his sort of style. It's another great album. The two originals on here are killers, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 14, we've got the 14th album from 2020, and it's called Royal Tea. Joining Joe on here, who plays guitar and mandolin, is Kevin Shirley on guitars, Rog McNelly on the rhythm, Rhys Wyndham's on organ, Jewel Holland plays piano on one of them, Michael Rhodes, Anton Figgs on drums. Yes, he played with Kiss. We've got Greg Morrow doing some drumming as well. Jaff Bovert does the orchestrations. Lee Thornburg trumpet. Paulie Surratt on saxophone. Ron Desbula on baritone saxophone. Errol Litton on the harmonica. First track on here is a great little track called When One Door's Open. Love the beginning of this. It's getting some really nice chit tones. Fantastic strings on this as well. It's a great track. Royalty. This is a great guitar bit from Joe. Love this track. Why does it take so long to say goodbye? A very good track. I like how this changes from a slow sort of melodic blues and it comes to an all upbeat and then it goes back down again. Very well done. A great track. Look Out Man, great bass line here from Michael, who plays the bass on this. Great track. My favourite on here though is High Class Girl. I love that blues riff and them keyboards. I like tracks like that with that great blues riff and a great keyboard. A Conversation with Alice comes next. It's okay, it's not one of my favourites, but it's pretty good. I don't think she would do it. Now, this is co-wrote by the late Bernie Marsden, and it's a killer track. Great guitar player is Joe, and love it. Beyond the Silence, good old-fashioned bluesy sort of driving song. Lonely Boy, this features Jules Holland on the piano. Brilliant stuff. You can tell it's him. It's got a bit of that swing style to it as well. We have Savannah. It's got a bit of a big country feel to this, but it's not too bad. Pretty solid album. There are a couple here that are not particular favourites, but it's still a damn good album. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, coming in at number 13, we have the second album from 2002, and it's just So It's Like That. Joining Joe on here is Eric Sauer again, Kenny Cram, and we've got Cliff Magnus on the organ. Eric plays the bass. So it's basically a three-piece sort of band. And, well, four-piece if you can include Joe. My Mistake opens up this, not a bad track. It's more rocky than a bluesy song. He was good at the rock stuff as well. Excellent track. Line number 1, very Fleetwood Mackie blues. Excellent track though. No Slack. Great vocal from Joe. It's a really solid song as well. Unbroken. It sounds more like a Bryan Adams track, but it's okay. My favourite track on here is So It's Like That. Great bluesy riff. I love that sort of mellowy blues riff. It's a brilliant track. Then we have Waiting for Me. Excuse me. Great vocal from Joe on that one. Never Say Goodbye. Great stuff. Again, it's got a lovely tempo to it. Mountain Time, a good rock track. Absolutely belter. You know, more rock than blues, but it's absolutely killer. Pain and Sorrow comes not. It's 10 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a little bit too long. This would be more ideal for playing it on stage like this, but on an album it just seems to meander. Taking the hit. Interesting arrangement, some nice guitar work though. Under the Radar, another solid track. Love the guitars from Joe on this. Sick in Love, second favourite on here. It's got a brilliant guitar solo from Joe on it. It's got that real blues feel to it. The Hard Way, more rocky and raunchy, but it's a good track to end the album. A very good album. There's a lot more mainstream rock on this one, but it's still a very good album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.7. Coming in at number 12, we get to 2006 now. This is his 5th album, and it's called You and Me. Joe's on here. Carmine Rojas on the bass. Jason Bonham on the drums. Rick Mellick on piano. And Jeff Bova, who does the orchestra. We started this one off with a cover version of Charlie Patton's High Water Everywhere. Excellent track. Absolutely brilliant version of it. I'd say it's a little bit better than Charlie Patton's. Then we have my favourite track on here, Bridge to Better Days. Great blues rocker. Got a great bass line. The drumming, of course, is just phenomenal from Jason Bonham. It's a fantastic track, and it is my favourite. Asking Around for You, a great blues ballad. I love my blues ballads. It's that great bass line and the little keyboard bit that really adds to it. Then we have some more covers. We have So Many Roads, the Otis Rush song. Brilliant cover of that. Another Bobby Bland song, I Don't Believe. Great version. Roy Coydu's Tamp Them Up Solid. Brilliant cover. Brilliant. And then there's one that not many people do, and that's the Django by Django Reinhardt. Brilliant track. Just as good as the original. And then the surprise on here, and this is probably even a little bit better than the original. It's T for One, the Led Zeppelin song. Brilliant version of it. Palm trees and helicopters and gasoline, and a mature acoustic bluesy song. Very good. Then we have Your Funeral and My Trial, the Sonny Boy Williams song. Brilliant again. He does these covers so well. Turn Down, a great rock and roll number. A quality album. It's got some great covers on here, especially the Led Zeppelin cover. Probably one of the best tracks that he's covered. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.8. Right, time for a drink already. Okay, coming in at number 11, we've got the 12th album from 2016, Blues of Desperation. Loads of people on here, too many to mention. So we'll just go straight into the track. So the first track is called This Train. It's a quirky little 12-bar blues number, and it's got that feel of being on a train as well. The vocal is brilliant, and that little bit in the middle with the guitar solo is fantastic. Mountain Climbing, great driving guitar riffs. Excellent track, real rocky that one is. Drive, it's got a brilliant bass line on it. Some nice gentle guitar from Joe, another really good song. My favourite track on here is called No Good Place for the Lonely. For a start, it's got the classic drum beat and bass line. It's got that such a great thing, and I love Joe's voice. He's got this wonderful voice to sing these blues songs. The title track, Blues of Desperation, is now a little bit different. It's sort of a bluesy, rocky, with a little bit of funk thrown in there. Very good track. The Valley Runs Low, acoustic country blues song, and it works. It's very good. You Left Me Nothing But the Bill and the Blues. One of my favourite tracks on here. It's funky as well. It's got that classic bass line as well. Distance, Lonesome Train, a quirky little number with a great guitar solo on it. How Deep the River Runs, another good track. What a fantastic solo from Joe on this. That classic blues drum beat and the blues bass. Easy Living, jazzy. This is more of a jazzy blues. I love the piano in this. Absolutely brilliant. Then we have a track called What I've Known for a Very Long Time. Very B.B. King. The horns are brilliant. You have singing and then the guitar solo, just like B.B. King used to play. Cracking album. Absolutely. And it's got a good mixture of blues rock, blues jazz. I really enjoyed this album. I do like playing this one. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 10, we have the 15th album from 2021, and it is called Time Clocks. Again, so many people on here will be here till next Christmas telling who's playing on it. So the first track is called Pilgrimage, and it's a little introduction. It's a little bit of guitar that leads quite nicely into Notches. I love that acoustic guitar at the beginning. And then you get the rock guitar. It's a really well put together track. The Heart That Never Waits. Proper blues, 12-bar blues rocker. Joe's vocals are great. His guitar work is just phenomenal to listen to. Time Clocks. It's got some nice little guitar bits in it. It's not bluesy as much as all the others, but it's really good track. Questions and answers, nice bluesy feel to it. You can swing with it. Another fantastic solo from Joe on that. Mind's Eye, fabulous track. The keyboards, it's got that great keyboard bluesy sound. But my favourite on here is called Curtain Call. It's just what blues is all about. This is why I like the blues. Takes you, it's a moody blues song with some great guitar work. It's just an awesome track. The Loyal Kind. This is a little bit more acoustic. That Robert Johnson acoustic blues. Then there's a little bit of whistling on here. It's okay. Hanging the Looser. Second favourite track on here. You got that classic bluesy organ. Some great guitar as well. Terrific track. Known Unknowns. The keyboards on this are brilliant, and they got some lovely harmonising backing vocals. Excuse me, folks. Right. Okay. This was the most current album with mostly original material up to date. It's a belter. The mixture of rock and blues on here is terrific. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.2. Okay, coming in at number 9, the 13th album from 2018, and it's called Redemption. Playing on here is Joe, of course, Reese Wineham's on organ and piano, Anton Fig on the drums, Michael Rhodes on the bass, Lee Thornburg horns, Paulie Serra on horns. We've got Kenny Greenberg on the guitar, Doug Lanco plays guitars, Gary Pinto on harmonies, vocals, and Mahala Barnes and Jade McRae on backing vocals. First track is called Evil Mama. Now the drum beat at the beginning of this, you think it's going to be a cover of Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll, but then it goes into this great bluesy with a great bass line. It's a great track, very deceptive track as well. Then we have King B's Shakedown. It's a bit of a crossover bluesy rockabilly sort of thing. Very, very good. Molly O. Solid typical blues bass sound. Really strikes on this. Absolutely corker track. Deep in the Blues again. Solid song. It does what it says on the tin. Self-Inflicted Wounds is the next track. It's one of these. The guitar is rich, the organ is rich, and the piece just sort of swings and slides, and it's just absolutely wonderful. But my favourite piece of music on this one is Pick Up the Pieces. It's got that 40s vibe to it. It's got horns and piano. Absolutely belting track. The Ghost Machine of Macron Jones. A bit different, this is. It's not very bluesy as such, but it's just got a very good tempo. Then we have Just 'Cause You Can't, Don't Mean You Should. Bluesy guitar from here, one of the best pieces of guitar work on this album from Joe, and you get these little stabs of horns on it as well. It's a really strong track. Redemption. The beginning of it is very acoustic blues, and then it goes into this great rock track with a fantastic solo. I'm really struggling today. I've got Some Mind Over What Matters. Very good track again. The vocal from Joe on this is brilliant. I do like that one. Stronger Now in Broken Pieces. A lovely acoustic number. Very gentle. Like that sort of gentle bluesy sort. Then Love Is a Gamble. It's got that upbeat blues streak. The drumming on this is brilliant. Some fine guitar licks, and that's before he's even started singing. Absolutely killer track to end the album. Very consistent. Again, not a bad track on these albums. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, then coming in at number 8, 7th album from 2009, The Ballad of John Henry. Joining Joe on here are Mick Mellick on keyboards, Blondie Chaplin on the rhythm, Carmine Rojas on the bass, Anton Fig on the drums, Boogie Bowles does some drumming, I like that name, Lee Thornburg does the instruments of brass, Dave Woodford plays saxophone. The first track is the title track, The Ballad of John Henry. Love that riff at the beginning. Then you got this sort of acoustic slide guitar on it. Absolutely brilliant. Then he does a cover of Sam Brown's song. Now, Sam Brown, of course, is the daughter of Joe Brown, and it's her hit Stop. And he does a great version of it. Really like that version. Last Kiss. I love the bass line from Carmine. Absolutely brilliant. Really holds the track together. You got this sort of brassy sound. The drums from Anton are good. Absolutely brilliant track. Then we have a Tom Waits cover, Jockey Full of Bourbon. It's my favourite track on here, actually, and it's not as gravelly as Tom Waits, but Joe does a great version of it. I love this track. I like Tom's version as well, but I think Joe's has just got that little bit more edge. Story of Quarrymen. Love the riffs on this. It starts off really rocky, but ends into this sultry blues song. Lonesome Roll Blues. It's just 12-bar boogie blues. Status Quo sort of style, early style. The piano in it is brilliant. It's got that piano is very like Break the Rules sort of sound, like that. Happier Times. Great start. I love the start of this, and it's got one of the best solos on the album, and the riffs are good as well. Then we have a version of Feeling Good. Cy Grant did the original. It's a great version of it. It's a great song anyway. Everyone that sings this, from Muse, have sang it. Everyone likes that. And then we get another cover, and this is an Ike and Tina Turner one, Funkier Than the Mosquitoes Tweeter. Great song from Ike and Tina, and Joe does a fantastic version of it. Then we have The Great Flood, which is this slow bluesy song dominated by keyboards at that slow blues tempo. And then you get a great guitar solo on top of it, which is just killer. From the Valley, acoustic blues. I do like my acoustic blues, and that's a great thing. Then we have As the Crow Flies, which is a song that was done by Tony Joe White. Quite a really old song, and it's done in the same vein. Very, very good. Another sterling album. The covers are on here. Feeling Good is brilliant, and of course Jockey of Full Bourbon is brilliant. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.4. Okay, coming in at number 7. We've got Black Rock, released in 2010. It was recorded on the Greek island of Santorini. Joe's on here, of course. We've got Rick Melik again on the keyboards, Carmine Rojas on the bass, Boogie Bowles and Anton Fig do the drums, Thanasis Vassapolopoulos on clarinet, David Woodford on saxophone, Malinus Cardins on the bouzouki. Yeah, we've got a bouzouki on here. Lee Thornburg on brass, and guest artist, the legendary Mr. B.B. King. Starts off with a cover, and it's the Bobby Parker song, Steal Your Heart Away, which is a great song, and of course Joe does a fine version of it. I Know a Place, which is a John Hyatt song, one of the best songs from John Hyatt, and Joe does a great version of it. Then we have When the Fire Hits the Sea. Sounds like a very early Rolling Stones track, but it's very good. Quarryman's Lament. I love the bass on this and the keyboards, and there's a little bit of flute thrown in there as well. Yes. Then he does a cover of Jeff Beck's Spanish Boots. Brilliant. Another cover now, Bird on the Wire from Leonard Cohen. Absolutely no difference between them two versions. 3 Times a Fool, Otis Rush. Again, there's not much difference between Joe's version and Otis's. Very, very similar. Then we have Nightlife, a Willie Nelson cover, but with B.B. King singing on it. So you've got B.B. King playing guitar with Joe. It's just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Wandering Earth, stonking song, my favourite. It's certainly got the B.B. King influence on that again. Then we have a great cover, one of my favourite blues songs, Looking Over Yonder's Wall from Freddie King. And guess what? Joe does a fantastic version of it. Athens to Athens is next. Very Bad Company, free sort of thing, but I love it. It's probably my favourite track on here. Then we got Baby Gotta Change Your Mind, the Blind Boy Fuller song. Cool cover of that as well. Another great album. Great covers. They sound so much like the originals. The Blind Boy Fuller cover is absolutely killer on here. So I'm going to give this album an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we go to 2011 for the 9th album, and it's called Dust Bowl. Joe's playing all sorts on there, slide bouzouki and mandolin, apart from singing and guitars. Carmine Rojas is on the bass again. Anton Fig is on the drums. Rick Melik on the organ as ever. We've got Peter Van Veeden on spoken word. John Hyatt does vocals on track 3. Glenn Hughes vocals on track 8. And Blondie Chapman plays guitar on track 8. Slow Train, my favourite track on here. I love the drumming from Anton in it. Very good track. Probably one of the best guitar solos. Absolutely wonderful. It feels like a train going up. The drums make this train going uphill and up a gradient. Absolutely brilliant. Then we have Dust Bowl. The harmonica on this rules on this. Great drums as well. Just another superb song. Then Tennessee Plates, which is a John Hyatt song, and John sings on it, and it's a pretty good song. The Meaning of Blues. Now, it's not the Bobby Troop song. It is an original song that Joe wrote. It's a great guitar, bluesy drumming on this solid track. Black Lung Heartache comes next. This starts off very acoustically and it just builds up into a real blues song. Then we do a little Walter number, You Better Watch Yourself, absolutely top draw. Different start to the original, but you know it's that song. The Last Matador of Bayonne, slow rhythmic blues song with a great bass line. Heartbreaker, written by Paul Rodgers, of course. It's a free song, and it's sang by the brilliant Glenn Hughes, and it's absolutely brilliant. Glenn Hughes rocks on this. Brilliant song, one of my favourite free songs as well. Then we have No Love on the Street, which is a Tim Curry song. The guitar solo is better, and it's better than the original. I think it's a really good song. The Whale That Swallowed You, Jonah, really upsharp blues song. It's about the Jonah and the whale. Sweet Rowenta, it's a Vince Gill song, and it did feature Vince Gill, and it's a very good track. Prisoner, which is a Barbra Streisand song, and I think Joe's version of this song is better than Barbara's. Solid album, some really interesting covers on this one as well. It does deliver, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay, coming in at number 5, we've got the 6th album from 2007, Sloe Gin. Joining Joe on here are Carmine Rojas on the bass, Anton Figs on the drums, Rick Mellick on the keyboards and tabla. Boogie Bowles plays Hammer Dalmosa and drums on Seagull. Okay, this album starts off with another cover, and it's a Chris Whiteley cover, Bull Peen Hammer. Fantastic version. Then we get a 10 Years After, and it's one of my favourite 10 Years After songs one of these days, and it's a great cover, and it's my favourite track on this album without a doubt. That's absolutely killer. Then we have Seagull, which is Bad Company, and Joe sounds so much like Paul Rodgers on here. It is absolutely brilliant. Great version. Then we have a track called Dirt in My Pocket. Bright little bluesy number with a fantastic vocal from Joe. Then we have Sloe Gin, which is a Tim Curry song written by Michael Kamen and Bob Ezrin. Brilliant version of it. It's absolutely killer. Then we have a John Mayall song, Another Kind of Love. Absolutely nails it. Around the Bend, that lovely combination of electric and acoustic guitars on this really works. It's just a great track. Black Knight, not the Deep Purple, but a Charles Brown song. Brilliant track. Now, one of my favourites on here is a John Martin cover, and it's Jelly Roll. He does a brilliant version of this John Martin song. Absolutely killer. The vocal is very similar to John. It's an absolutely wonderful track. Richmond is the next track. Acoustic blues number. I love it. I love acoustic blues. Then we have a track called India. This is where you get the tabla drums on it, and it really, as you saw, it's a bit Bollywood, and it's got a bluesy feel to it as well. It's an excellent track, very different, but it worked. Lots of different styles on this album, some great covers, very strong album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. Moving into the top 4, probably one of the hardest top 4s, because every track on here, there's a lot of covers on these albums, but they are so good. So coming in at number 4, we have the 11th album from 2014, Different Shades of Blue. Joining Joe on here, we've got Reese Winans on organ, Anton Fig on the drums, Carmine Rojas bass, Michael Rose does some bass, and the percussion Lenny Castro. We start off with a Jimi Hendrix number, Hey Baby, New Sun Rising, and it's not a bad version. The guitar work is spot on. Oh, beautiful. I love this track. The guitar work is good. Great solo. Joe's solos are always wonderful. Really plays them well. Then we have Love Ain't a Love Song. Brass, keyboards, great guitar solo. Don't need much more to say about that. Then my favourite track on here, Living on the Moon. Classical bluesy sound. Some nice horns on here that really complement it. Heartache follows wherever I go. Second favourite track on here. The horns and the guitar together just sound brilliant on this. Never Give All Your Heart. Bluesy riffs, solos, keyboards in it are brilliant. I Gave Up Everything for You Except the Blues. Love the title of that. It's got all the elements I love about blues. A great beat, a great bass line, some horns that sort of keep coming in and out. The piano's great, thumping bass line. That's why I like the blues. Different shades of blue, acoustic blues, and then it goes into some gentle electric blues. Fantastic track. Get Back, My Tomorrow. Solid as you like. Just a good beat to it. Trouble Time, some brass. Always like brass in with blues. Then So What Do I Do? A wonderful bluesy piano start. The great riffs come thundering in. It's just one of the great tracks to end an album. Another album from top to bottom of pure blues and rock. So I should give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3 is the 4th album. Had to Cry Today, which came out in 2004. So joining Joe here, we have Eric Czar on bass, Kenny Cram on drums, Benny Harrison on the Hammond organ, and John Paris on harmonica. We open up with another B.B. King song, and it's Never Make Your Move Too Soon. Fantastic version of that song. Then we do an Albert Collins Travelling South, which happens to be my favourite cover on here. Wonderful belter track. Then we have this short little piece of guitar called Junction 61, which goes in really nicely into Reconsider Baby, the Lowell Fowles song. Lowell Fulson song, sorry. It just seems he added that bit, the Junction 61, because it works perfectly to go into that song. Then we have another version of Around the Bend. So this is a bit more acoustic, very good. Revenge of the 10-Gallon Hat. This is a bluesy rock and roll number, absolutely brilliant. My favourite track on here. That's absolutely brilliant. When She Dances. This is a shuffle bluesy ballad. Love the keyboards on this. Then we have another great cover. This one from Blind Faith, Had to Cry Today, which is the title track. That's a great song, and he absolutely kills it on this. Absolutely spot on. The River, another of my favourite tracks on here. I love the harmonica on this. When the Sun Goes Down, more great harmonica, a great drum beat, brilliant guitaring. Then we have this little thing called Full Mantini. The acoustic guitar is brilliant. It just proves that you can play great blues on acoustic guitar. A great album. Some of the covers are on here are just exceptional. The Blind Faith one is fantastic. So I'm going to give this an album an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay, coming in at number 2 is the debut album from 2000, A New Day Yesterday. I remember hearing this for the first time and it blew me away. It was great to hear a modern day blues player. So on here we've got Joe, we've got Cremo Liss on bass, Tony Clinton on drums, Annie and Janine Burns on vocals on 2 tracks, Rick Derringer does some singing on here as well. We've got David Borden on guitars, Len Bonamassa on guitar, the great Leslie West and Greg Allman. They play on track 10. This opens up with a great song from Rory Gallagher, and it's one of my favourite Rory Gallagher songs, and I was privileged to see him play this, and it's Cradle Rock. Absolutely top draw. It's great to hear a Rory song. A great blues player himself. I love that track. Then we have Walk in My Shadows. Of course, it's a free song. Sounds brilliant, and the guitar work is as good as Paul's Kossoff's. Absolutely brilliant. A New Day Yesterday, which is an Iain, a Jethro Tull song off their second album, and it's a great version of it. I never thought anyone could do a great version of that, but Joe did. Then we have an original track called I Know Where I Belong. This is a funky blues track. Love that guitar mix on it. Okay, Miss You, Hate You, which is another original track. Great guitar solo on this. Then we have Nothing I Wouldn't Do for a Woman Like You, an Al Cooper number. It's a great Al Cooper track and delivered brilliantly by Joe. And this is my favourite version. It's just a killer. Colour and shape, some great little bits on here. This is an original track. Absolutely killer bits on there from Joe. Headaches to Heartbreaks. It's got a groovy bass line that really adds to this track. Trouble Waiting, another original track. So much of Gary Moore in here. So tired. Love. I think that's why I like it. Then we have If Heartaches Were Nickels, which is a Kenny Neal song, and written by the great Warren Haynes. So brilliant. You've on here. This is where you've got Leslie West playing, Greg Allman. It's just an absolute belter. Great version of that with some great players on there. Then we have Current Situation, solid, absolutely brilliant track. Another cover to end the album, Don't Burn That Bridge, Albert King. Brilliant version. A great debut. Lots of covers, but they're very different. Not everyone does these. It's got a very strong start. He set his stall out from day one. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 9.3. But my favourite Joe Bonamassa album, this one I just keep wanting to play all the time. I love the cover. It's called Driving Towards the Daylight, the 10th release from 2012. So on here, joining Joe, Anton Figgs on here, doing the drums as ever. Arian Scheiberbaum on organs, Kevin Shirley on guitars, Brad Whitford from Aerosmith on guitar, Michael Rhodes, Doug Henthorne, Carmine Rojas is on here, Blonde Chaplin as well. First track, my favourite, Dislocated Boy. What an opening track. Bang. No not messing about on this one, is there? Great playing. He had a great band on here. Brad's playing on here. Doug Henthorne. We've got Anton Fig. Great song. I love that song. Then we have a Robert Johnson track. Like all Robert Johnson tracks, they really do a great interpretation. These Stones Are My Pathway, fantastic version of it. Okay, they've really added to it, and that's why a lot of people do all Robert Johnson songs. They sort of add to them. They're all great songs. Driving Towards the Daylight is another great song on here. It's got a fine solo from Joe, the best one on the album, I think. Then we have a Howlin' Wolf track, Who's Been Talking. Once again, done a fantastic version of it. Then we have got a Willie Dixon number, I Got You All You Need. It was recorded by Koto Taylor. A lot of people have done this version. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Then we have another cover by Bernie Marsden, A Place in My Heart. I've got this by Bernie, and it's terrific. And Joe does a killer version of it. I'm going to put this in the playlist because it's a great track from Bernie. Then we have Lonely Town, Lonely Street, of course, recorded by Bill Withers. And it's an interesting version of it. It's a little bit different from his, but it's a very good version. Heavenly Soul, I love the keyboards on this. One of my favourite tracks on here. It's another great solo from Joe. Another Tom Waits song, A New Coat of Paint. A great version. Even Joe starts that gravelly voice. Brilliant stuff. And then we got a great track here. Some Trouble Don't Go. Somewhere Trouble Don't Go. Buddy Miller song. Heard this. The original is really good. And Joe again does a brilliant version. Then we have a great track featuring Jimmy Barnes. Not the Jimmy Barnes. But the blues singer Jimmy Barnes. And Jimmy plays on this as well. It's absolutely brilliant. Co-written by Jonathan Cain, Jimmy Barnes and Neil Schon. So you got half of Journey writing this. It's a great song by Jimmy Barnes. He's a great singer, and it's just a fantastic bit of a jam man sort of thing. Yeah, it's not often I pick my number one album with lots of covers, but there's a reason. There's covers on here are terrific. They really boost these songs, and he's got a great knack of doing great covers as Joe. He's a fantastic guitarist, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. There we go. He's a terrific blues guitarist. I would love to go and see this guy. He reminds me so much in the Gary Moores and the Rory Gallaghers and Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I think Joe deserves to be up there with them. He is very consistent. When he does covers, he doesn't just do covers. He takes them to a new level. So there we go. Okay, that's all for today. Busy day tomorrow. Very busy day. We're starting off with a birthday top 10, and it's my mate Lee, who we've been friends now for over 40 years. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's his US top 10. Also tomorrow we've got a sophomore drone, and this one's a bit of a request, and it's a bit of a punky one tomorrow. We're doing the Ramones versus the Clash. And also tomorrow we have got Mixing It Up, which is pick and mix, and we're looking at the produce Tim Palmer and going through some of the albums that Tim Palmer produced. Well, I hope the weather's better because it's absolutely lousy still here. So I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.